My name is John Cooper. I'm an ex-high school teacher teaching woodwork and metalwork, and I've been here about 10 years. It's a lot of fun, but it's also hard work sometimes.
I'm Jim Poole. I work with John in conservation. My background's in heavy engineering. The place here is absolutely fascinating because we get to work on things that the normal person doesn't even see. I've been here, as I say, 14 years and loved every minute of it.
It's difficult to say a favourite, but some we've worked on for so long, months and months and months, that they become part of a system here. You know exactly what you've got to do every time you come in. You've got next step to do. So there's some big jobs like the telescope that's up in the observatory now, and the time ball work all top of the observatory. That was interesting and a bit different, and we had to use some pretty old technology to get the same reproduction that was originally there.
My favourite's undoubtedly the first project I worked on in Castle Hill, and that was the restoration of the ice boat, a steel sloop that was famously sailed around Antarctica by a Kiwi come Australian guy. And it was rolled a number of times. It was severely damaged. It was eventually used for custom sailing on the Hawkesbury River. And when the museum was given it, it turned out to be a rusty old hulk. Basically, we restored it, and that's when I learned a lot of the intricacies of the museum way of life. But with the iceberg, the techniques that we used were to make it look good, as it should be, but we weren't allowed to do the normal things. For example, a steel-hulled boat with a great hole in the hull, my answer would be to get a sheet of steel and weld it in. But you can't do that in a museum, because the steel you weld in is not necessarily the same steel that was in the boat. So what we had to do, we had to fit this hole that was 1 metre wide and 1/2 metre high, weird shape, had to fit a bit of steel in there, screw it in so it could be removed, make all the fittings inside the hull different colour and removable, so that someday in the dim distant future, if someone wants to really know about this boat, they can pull this piece out and say, well, that's not original, but the rest of it is. I've been in 2 different actions of volunteering in this place. One is a guide, which I love, and I particularly loved the young kids, because I believe if you can interest a young kid in a museum, is a museum tragic for life. And the older people, I mean, at the powerhouse, we've got a lot of day-to-day items that people of a certain age will have used. We have a buggy, horse-drawn cart actually, that was built in, I don't know, 12 or 13. And I was waffling on one day to a group of senior citizens about this beautiful bit of machinery, because it is. It was all done with an adze and an axe. It's quite spectacular. And this guy said, and I quote, "Jesus, you might think it's fascinating, but it's not too bloody fascinating when you're trying to chuck bags of wheat up onto the top stack." I said, "Oh yeah." He said, "Yeah, I did it for 2 years. Hard work." That's the sort of people. You know, I had another issue with trams. We had, of all things, I was showing you a book of tram tickets. And this guy asked me if I'd ever, because I was interested in trams, seen or heard of the blue canaries fly. I said, "No." He said, "I'll tell you a long and fascinating story." And he told it to me. So there's a lot of fascinating things, a lot of history in it.
Yeah, I think if I needed a change from this, I would definitely like to get on the floor. By that I mean be there at 10 o'clock when it opens, be available to take a highlight tour, or maybe to take people into a new exhibition that's open. We have some just amazing things. If you can get an enthusiastic guide to any exhibition, it can double the value to somebody who just walks in, looks around and walks out again.